Well guys, I'm gonna keep this intro very fast, short and sweet because I'm excited to fly my FMS Pitts V2. We've got a little bit of rain sprinkling, but not enough to stop us from flying. You'd be surprised what most electric planes can handle as far as rain goes. I don't want to get super soaked, so let's put this in the air with a nice 4,000 milliamp battery and have some fun. Now guys, what you do have to worry about is something like your radio or a very expensive camera setup that you're using to film. But if I was just out here flying for fun, I really wouldn't be too worried. I might have one of these things that I put my radios in to protect it from snow and rain, or even just a grocery bag. I did a little bit of trimming on this, and I do want to see if Safe works on my setup in this flight today, possibly. But I should have those adjustments made. So Abby, you ready for takeoff?
Ready.
Let's see if I can do a little bit better this time. At least it didn't come toward us.
And it didn't go in the grass, so that was good.
Let's make sure my trim feels good. I'm just a little bit focused. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. That's so much better.
Got it, good.
Yeah. Wow, okay, there's hands free. Yeah, let's go. That's really nice. Okay, so that was awesome. It just needed like 4 turns out and then 8 clicks down. It could be recentered a little better, but just for here on the field, that's really good. And that's another reason I love those ball joint ends on the push rod that connect to your servos. They're very, very handy. Look at that, that's hands-free pass. That's fantastic. Okay, I'm just gonna have a little fun flying. That was nice.
Can you hear this?
I don't know.
That
I'm
just
not going to get
reminded
that
me of
crazy
it.
today, I don't think. I'm just going to do a little bit of sporty maneuvers. I had like a little bit of a slipstream fall there. That was kind of really weird. I doubt anyone caught that, but before I kind of banked right to go into that strong left bank, something felt like it was just kind of somersaulting through the air. Very, very strange. It was a weird little maneuver. This plane is kind of a tumbler. You know, it's not necessarily a traditional flyer. It's going to have very different flying characteristics, and I'm loving it. It's really fun. A lot of ground vehicles have their differences when you talk about crawlers, and there are minute differences between each crawler. Bashers have a little bit more noticeable differences. GPS drones are like all the same basically, unless you're talking about camera quality, gimbals. But when you get into airplanes, you might think that there are so many. I'm doing a full loop. You might think there's a lot of similarities. Let's go into another loop, and then we're going to pull it back out into like, we're just going to keep it inverted, because I did not do much inverted on that maiden because it needed so much elevator trim. Feeling pretty good. I'm focused right now. Feeling pretty good though. Airplanes have so much character, in my opinion, and that's what keeps the hobby fun, I think. Personally, the massive variety in the way airplanes like to move through the air is what keeps it fun and challenging to me, especially getting a new airplane and then spending a good 20 to 50 flights with it to truly learn how it likes to fly. Let's do a full throttle pass over the runway. I'm going to keep a lot of momentum into this bank, and we're just going to crank it full throttle, and I'll be quiet. For a 6S airplane, it's actually fairly quiet and docile compared to something like that giant Husky that I've been flying. But it's sporty, don't get me wrong, very sporty. That was a good pass. Let's go in for a snap at the top here. See, it's not the most aggressive snapper, but this is a giant airplane flying on a 6S battery. You've got to realize it's got a lot of weight to it, so when you pull off a maneuver like that snap, okay. I wondered which way my orientation was, so I just kept going up until I got my orientation back. It's a scary feeling when you lose orientation of your airplane, even if just for a half second. Now this is probably not going to go well, because I don't think I have it set up perfectly, but I'm going to climb up to like 3 mistakes high, and I'm going to try to turn safe on. Now this is not a bind and fly airplane. I set up safe myself. So I know the dumb settings are fine. I can fly a plane without safe, but here we go, 3, 2, 1. Safe is on, and it's climbing. Oh, it's climbing back. So safe's no good. I was worried on the ground.
How you set it up.
Yeah, how I set it up. On the ground it was acting fine, but in the air is a whole different story. It could be something as simple as having my receiver in sitting backwards. I'm just not a complete pro at that yet. That was nice. Would have been nice if I got into it a bit sooner. We'll try it on this end. To me, guys, this is truly just living the dream and being happy out here flying our RCs. Nice, pretty pass. Doesn't this remind you of something that has flown here before? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Full scale.
Yeah.
It had smoke. Where's your smoke?
Hey, one day, the true dream is to have an airplane with smoke.
Electric, right?
Electric
You really want
nice.
electric.
I think that's, if someone can invent that, I think they're sitting on some money. A really good system that actually works. I think that's the, maybe not the $1 million idea, but maybe within the right company and the right hands. And in my opinion, because I don't have the time or the ability to invent this, but in my opinion, I truly believe that one of those e-cigarette systems just amped up to be larger. And yeah, you'd fly through the oil or whatever it is. I believe that's the way to go. A large smoke system with like an e-cigarette, but it would burn dirty, right? It's not like you're going to be intentionally inhaling this into your lungs. It'd be burning very dirty. How cool would that be?
I feel like you would have to put a speaker in it to make it sound like it's gas.
Yeah, I don't know. Just smoke alone would be cool to me, I think. So let's do an inverted outside
I think
loop.
you're at 6 minutes.
Actually, you know what? Let's go up higher. And Abby, don't you like when I do these? We kind of go, there we go, upside down. That's a true full.
You know something you haven't done for a while? That's what I thought you were gonna do. You used to take it up really high and then spiral downwards.
Oh, you know what? Let's do that
You
really
haven't
quick
done that
on
in
this.
a long time.
I haven't done that in a long time. This will probably be a great plane to do it. So let's go right out here over the hill.
Yeah, oh, please don't crash.
Fine,
it's not my fault.
Well, we're just trying
I don't like
something, right?
suggesting.
Feels like I still got a good amount of power, so. There we go. That's a great plane for it. Okay, let's do that one more time. We'll commit to it a little higher and hope that our battery holds out. It's a 4,000 milliamps, so instead of climbing straight up, I'm actually going to climb like this a little bit because I wanted to do that longer and I wanted to be higher there. Now, from this position, I'll climb and we'll do it here because I don't think this has forever climb, right? So here we go. Just gotta know when to
That hill is deceiving back there too.
It's deceiving and we were definitely up over it. Yeah. So after that maneuver, let's get ready for a nice, hopefully clean landing. That last landing wasn't as nice. I want to try this little guy. We'll do like a maneuver. I feel like it should be farther out to commit to that kind of a straight down landing because I don't have flaps on this, or that was almost a wingtip stall there. So this is a little fast, but we're gonna drop it down and bleed the speed out as fast as I can there. 0 throttle. Yep, it's okay. It's all right. Just asphalt with speed and weight.
Nothing a permanent marker can't fix.
I don't even know if we got any road rash
You have
on
to lift it up.
It was a fairly light little one-wheeled landing. What a pretty plane. I can't believe how dark it is today. We've just been dealing with rain all week, so I'm very happy we got to get out and fly. Well, people will want to know, and that flight was a purist flight. There was no expo. I'm learning to like expo, but in this case, there was no expo. There was no AS3X. I did attempt safe really high. You guys saw that, and it didn't work out. So that plane is capable of flying nice and smooth, like you just witnessed, on a purist level of setup. A lot of people don't do that anymore these days. I used to think that I loved, and this is a good quick little lesson, expo is kind of like a curve on the way your control surfaces move. Without expo, and that's how I flew this, if I move my stick 10%, the control surface moves 10%. And by that I mean from center to the edge of the stick. From center would be 0, edge of the stick as far as it can go over is 100%. So if I move 10%, the flap moves 10% as well. If you fly with Expo, 0 is still 0, 100 is still 100, but there's a curve in between. So now, if I move my stick 10%, realistically, my aileron or whatever control surface I've set it up with is only moving, let's say for example, 2 or 3%. The reason you benefit from this is because it can make your flight look smoother than what you really are flying it. Some people with shaky thumbs might do this. If you're just a nervous flyer and you're moving a lot, you may do that. And some people will set it up to have that on and off. So you'll have high and low rates and more and less expo. Some guys like their landings and takeoffs to look smoother than what they really are. So they'll set up a lot of expo for their takeoff and landing to make those look smooth. But then during their flight, they may turn it off so things can look snappy and aggressive, which is fun. So that's expo, and
and that's it for today's lesson of knowledge with Nate.
A lot of people ask. When I mentioned it in the video where I decided to fly with it on, I think it was the Arrows Trojan, I'm pretty sure.
I've done a lot of videos.
A lot of people wanted to know what is expo, and we all need to remember that there are constantly beginners in the hobby all the time. So be ready for those questions and be ready to help when they do ask. And that's what we're here for. I never want to forget that there are newcomers into the hobby all the time. Guys, this is an amazing plane. It's definitely not a first plane. I shouldn't even have to say that, but just in case anyone's wondering, don't make this your first plane. If you love it, let us know in the comments, and if you've never flown before, we'll make a great recommendation for a lot cheaper than this. But this does belong in a person's collection that has 6S batteries. That's the kind of way I like to say this. It flies on a 6S battery. I don't know if I'd make this my first 6S airplane unless I just absolutely loved it. For me, I liked my first 6S planes being those EDF jets, and now I'm kind of working into 6S airplanes. Maybe a backwards way of doing it, but I've enjoyed it. And this plane will be linked in the description box below. It's quite simple. We put it there so you can find it easily. Plus, you can find the batteries easily. And this content is free. It's a great system. If you enjoyed this and you want to buy something from this website, not necessarily this airplane, but anything from the website, you can click that link and buy whatever it is you want to buy. The price remains the same, but we get a small kickback for letting you know about that site. It's a really good system and a great way to say thanks for making this content if you enjoyed your time while you're here. We love it and appreciate when people do think to support us. So a massive thanks. Also, a huge, biggest ever thanks that I could possibly say thank you to God, because I'm just grateful for today, getting out here to fly. The rain held off, and just for the day and life in general, I am very grateful. Last, but certainly not least, I want to say thanks to our Patreon supporters, because we couldn't do what we do as often as we do it without your insanely amazing support. In the world that we live in now, there is less and less family-friendly content, and your support keeps us motivated to keep the content rolling. Plus, we love it. But a thank you to you guys. You mean the world to us. If you'd like to join our Patreon team, it's also linked in the description box below. If you had a good time with us while flying this plane and you can't get enough of RC Sailors and more airplane content, we'll have one of our favorite videos popping up right about now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.